Good morning and welcome. This is Rabbi Pearl Jewish Talk, and this is the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 F. Let's see. My goodness, this is unbelievable. We're so excited over here. WHBC, streaming live on the college station, tunein.com. I'm Rabbi Pearl, once again, looking forward, and you are able to get all of our archives on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. And today I'm going to begin with an invitation. You are cordially invited to attend a Gimel Tammuz Farbrengen. This Farbrengen is a special gathering marking the 23rd anniversary of the passing of the Lubavitcher Rebbe of saint memory. It's an evening of inspiration at the Ohel. This is in the Old Montefiore Cemetery at the Ohel, and the guest speaker will be Rabbi Simon Jacobson, and his topic is What the Rebbe Means to the World. Rabbi Jacobson is a famed author and lecturer. This will take place this coming Wednesday, the 27th day of Sivan, June 21st, at 7:30 p.m., and a reception will also be served. The admission is free, and of course, we're all welcome to go to the Ohel itself between 6 and 7:30, and of course, after the program as well. Now, this date was chosen in conjunction with the exact date of 76 years ago. You see, what was going on that many years? As you know, this was during the midst of the terrible events going on in Europe. The mass murder by the Germans was now becoming normal, targeting against Jews of all backgrounds and nationalities, who were executed on the streets and gassed in the concentration camps. So Jewish life and tradition was on the brink of annihilation. But what happened? But as they tried to escape, the Holocaust victims faced the doors of world slammed shut. People couldn't get anywhere. Immigration quotas filled up quickly, and the global community of nations expressed little interest in helping the masses of European Jews to find refuge. So miraculously, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson of righteous memory, made it to the United States in March of 1940, along with a few family members and several aides. And from his new home in New York, the sixth Rebbe tried in vain to procure documents and information to save those he knew who were trapped back in Europe. But as they were Polish citizens and Poland would not grant them exit visas, the State Department refused to intervene on their behalf. Now, during this terrible time of the World War II, the sixth Rebbe was unsuccessful, even with his own daughter and son-in-law, Rabbi Menachem and Shana Horenstein, who lived in Otwotsk, in the outskirts of Warsaw, and perished in Treblinka. But his middle daughter and her husband, the future Rebbe, Rabbi Nachum Mendel Schneerson of righteous memory, and the previous Rebbe's daughter, the Rebbetzin Chaim Mushka Schneerson of righteous memory, they were born in Russia, and they had a small chance of escape from France. With the assistance of the Hebrew Immigration Aid Society, known as HIAS, the sixth Rebbe learned that because the Russians were forbidding their Jews from leaving, there was no one to fill the Russian immigrant quotas in the United States. At first, the sixth Rebbe wanted the application for the visa to state that his son-in-law would be part of the hierarchy of the Chabad Lubavitch movement. That's the reason why he wanted, bring him to the United States. But Hayas advised that it would be best for his son-in-law as an engineer, to write down he was an engineer, as he had indeed studied engineering at several universities in Paris. And so, this coming Thursday, on the Jewish calendar, the 28th day of the Hebrew calendar of Sivan. So this Thursday. This is the date when the future Rebbe and Rebbetzin, our Rebbe, arrived at Pier 8 in Staten Island, New York. And this date is celebrated by Jewish communities around the world as heralding the educational revolution that the Rebbe, the future Rebbe, would lead. So therefore, I'm taking this opportunity to invite you to join us for the eve of this very special day at the Ohel with Rabbi Jacobson as the guest speaker as we gather to remember and to learn and what the Rebbe means to us to this day. And it takes place at this coming Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. All are invited. If you'd like more information and directions to the Ohel, please call us at 516-739-3636. Today, I'd like to begin our program discussing 13 things mentally strong people don't do. Right, think about this. We see the climber on the summit of a mountain, but we don't see the blisters on his feet or the cuts on his hands from grasping onto the rocks. We see the published author, but we don't see the pile of rejection slips in his desk drawer. We see the successful businessman, but we don't see the many nights he stayed up starting all over again when his first startup fell apart. So we often see only the tip of the iceberg of success without all the mental toughness that was needed to get there. And therefore today I'd like to share with you an insightful list of things mentally strong people don't do. And it comes from an interesting book by Amy Morin. Number 1, they don't successfully mentally strong people. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Feeling sorry for yourself is self-destructive. Indulging in self-pity hinders living a full life. Self-pity is not only wastes our time, but it also holds back our relationships. Mentally strong people replace self-pity with gratitude. Wow. Number 2, they don't give away their power. Many of us give away our power when we don't have physical and emotional boundaries. Mentally strong people know how to stand up for themselves when they need to. Not allowing other people to control our actions requires us to have clear goals that we keep track of so that we know where to draw the line when we are pressured by other people's agendas. Another important idea: successful people, they don't avoid change. Shying away from change prevents growth. Mentally strong people lean into change even when it is frightening. As a person once wrote, the longer you wait, the harder it gets, and the other people will outgrow you. So don't avoid change. Another thing to keep in mind, a successful person, they don't focus on things they can't control. It feels so safe to have everything under control, but thinking that we have power to always pull the strings can become problematic. Rather than focusing on managing your anxiety, you try to control your environment. So mentally strong people don't waste energy focusing what they can't control. Instead, they prioritize internal aspects of their life that they can focus on and keep their effort going. Another important thing, I hope you're writing this down. A successful person, mentally successful, strong person, they don't worry about pleasing everyone. They acknowledge there will always be times that others will be angry or disappointed, and they don't allow other opinions to derail them from their goals. Such people aren't afraid to take calculated risks. They analyze the costs and the benefits of a risk without allowing fear to block the way forward. They ask themselves the following questions. How will this help me achieve my goals? What is the worst thing that could happen, and how could I reduce the risk if it was to occur? Another important idea is they don't dwell on the past, which doesn't solve anything. Instead, they reflect on the lessons that they have learned so they can look at the situation from a new perspective. In fact, this Shabbos, at our great synagogue, we shared the following story. Amazing story. It was a story about a man who was 87 years old. 87, right? He had never missed a day in his life of putting on tefillin. He loved that mitzvah. It enthused him. He was excited about it. Every time he put on his tefillin was like the very first time. Now, one day, when he put his tefillin down and he walked away, someone else by mistake took his tefillin. And this person, let's call him B, takes this man's tefillin, takes them home. He says to himself, right, he doesn't know that he got his tefillin to be mixed up. He says, maybe I should take my tefillin to have them checked by a sofer, by the scribe. And when he takes him to the scribe, lo and behold, the sofer tells him, do you know that these tefillin are not kosher? They were never kosher since day one. Now, he realizes now that's not his tefillin. They really belong to this 87-year-old man. And this 87-year-old is well known in the synagogue of the enthusiasm. He loved the mitzvah of tefillin, and he did it with such excitement and enjoyment and fervor and concentration and holiness. How is he going to break this news? So he goes to this person's family and tells them the story. So they come together, they come to the old grandpa, and they quietly, under their nose, so to speak, try to tell him the story diplomatically of how his tefillin were never kosher. He remained silent. So they repeat it, think he didn't hear. And as they're repeating the story, he says, I heard you the first time. And they all remain quiet to see what the reaction will be. Can you imagine? This man just found out that since day one, since the day he was bar mitzvah, he was wearing non-kosher tefillin. So suddenly the man gets up and he starts to dance. And he dances with such excitement, exuberance. They say, what's going on here? Why? And he explains why he's so exciting. He says, now, for the first time, I'm going to be able to wear tefillin which are kosher. What do you think the story means to us? He could have, thought back. Look, all these 87 years, right, minus 13 years, all these years he's put on tefillin, and they were not kosher, and he, didn't accomplish. But he lived in the moment. He didn't dwell on the past. That wasn't going to solve anything. Clearly, in the eyes of Hashem, this person had performed. He didn't know that tefillin were not kosher. But now that he was alive, and he could do it in the proper manner, wow, that's why he was dancing. And I thought of this in an amazing way. How many times in the course of our own lives we look back and say, if only I could have done this, if only I did this, if only if I went there, if only I could have done. How many times we find out things that we're doing in our life are totally wrong. Our outlook, our perceptions, our relationship, whatever it may be. So what should a person do? Sit there when he finds out and just, become paralyzed, or just move forward? And this is what this story tells us. Don't dwell in the past. Successful, healthy mind, mental people with a strong mind don't dwell in the past. That's not going to resolve anything. But they look forward to the new opportunities and the new perspectives that they have. Another important idea in this list is successful people don't repeat the same mistakes. They accept responsibility for their mistakes, study what went wrong, and plan what they can do better the next time. Moving along, they don't resent other people's success. That's a fantastic ability. Resentment is anger bottled up and hidden within the person of that person that distracts them from their own goals. Mentally strong people don't focus on comparing themselves to others. They see success as a scarce commodity. Instead, they are happy when people around them are successful. Right? You ever met people they can't appreciate other people's success. Successfully strong-minded people never do that. They're happy when people around them succeed. They don't give up after the first failure either. Mentally tough people see failure as an inevitable stepping stone towards success. They recognize that achievement is a process rather than an immediate destination. They don't fear being alone. Wow, what an important idea. They appreciate the benefits of occasionally being alone, which includes increased creativity, more empathy, greater productivity, and less, guess what, dear friends,